reason why we choose to love the people we choose to love is because of childhood, because we all learnt about love when we were children. And when we become adults, we remember the feelings of love in childhood. And the people that we end up falling in love with are people that remind us in many ways of the people we first loved when we were children. It's no surprise that many lovers call each other baby. You know, it sounds strange, but you know, it's like this. And of course, this explains why we often make very bad choices. Because sometimes in childhood, the relationships we had with those we loved, the adults we loved, were not perfect. Maybe, you know, mummy was a bit depressed, or daddy was always away, or had a terrible temper. And then we become adults, and we start falling in love with people who are always away, or have very bad tempers, or are a bit depressed. And all our friends tell us, why are you with these people? Why aren't you with someone perfect? And we go, well, they don't seem so right. But of course, what we're doing is we're using the map of love that we started with in childhood. And we're not free to love everyone.
Aber das ist ja auch nicht besonders schmeichelhaft, wenn man sich dann überlegt, dass man selber gewählt wurde, weil man sehr ähnlich ist wie die eigene Schwiegermutter oder wie der eigene Schwiegervater.
Sure.
Das ist vielleicht unter Umständen eine schwierige Vorstellung.
Yes, I mean, look, you know, love has many indignities, if you like. We shouldn't get offended. But look, definitely, we know that sometimes people will say, I love the way you are. You're a bit like my mother, so competent. Or you're a bit like my father, so reliable. So we know there are very good reasons why we fall in love with people who remind us of the good sides of our parents and people we knew as children. But the reason it becomes difficult is when you see people who can only love people who will cause them suffering. And for many people, love is not just about finding pleasure. It's also about finding a suffering that feels familiar. And this explains how we see people who have types and they break up 7 relationships and they always go back to someone who is basically the same type of person.